I'm Fiona Bristow. I've been a trustee of Kanaama Interactive Community Support, which we shorten to KICS. I've been a trustee since 2014, and I've been the unpaid director, more, well, not full time exactly, since 2016. So this is my ninth year or something. It doesn't feel that long, but it is. So I thought for me, the objective of this session would be to explain how we came to do so many different things, and then to get maybe some ideas from you guys of where do we go from here. We're many different ways we could go. So KICS was founded in 2009. It was a family charity originally, and they started working in one very small area of southwest Uganda, near Mbarara, just to the north, rural, very poor sub-county. Sub-counties, ours anyway, is about 24,000 people. And when they started getting donations, originally it was through people visiting. They'd set up a sort of visit centre. They decided to register and register as a charity, and there the die was started to be set. They registered it just to do activities just in that sub county, but the activities permissible were very wide. We're that old poverty, education, and health object, which you see a lot of. They wanted to work very much people developing themselves, and when they started working, they set up a microcredit program. I think they thought that could be put the money in, it would run itself, then they could walk away. Anyway, we're still involved. Eventually, they did the right thing. They set up a local partner, and basically we operate as a grant giver to that sole organisation that conveniently is called KICS Uganda, and they hire staff, and by those very complicated ways we navigate what the organisation is going to do. We do the fundraising and provide a bit of a technical support. There are now 3 people on our board in the UK who we would describe ourselves as development professionals. So how did we start? So we started with that microcredit program, and then people visited and noticed that there were people who couldn't access the microcredit because they were too poor. What could we do for those people? And the idea there was to support a proportion of the population who were looking after orphans and vulnerable children. So we started an educational support program to pay those wretched school fees for people. If you work in Uganda, you know all about school fees. Drives me mad. Anyway, we've been doing that since 2013. Where did that take us to? From there was an idea that we should probably by a UK member of staff talking to somebody in the local community. What about all these smoky stoves? So for a few years we built stoves. By that time we had also taken on the one donor supporting one child in school. We're still supporting the other children, supporting one child. So all sorts of different types of funding models. And then in 2015, again, probably from a visit, somebody talking to somebody locally, realized there were a lot of women, younger, older, somewhere in the middle, who couldn't read and were finding it very hard to access the microcredit, very hard to interact with the market or whatever. So we started you've got to creditors for being ambitious, an adult education program. What else? And from there, that eventually evolved it. Well, we've got these incredible groups of women, and they have such great potential. So why don't we do what I thought initially was going to be a sort of community mobilization program, turned into actually group business training. So then we're business advisors as well. And then back in school, we of course knew from what was happening in the rest of the world that all these girls weren't going to school during their periods. So we set up some menstrual health training. And it has to be said, but meanwhile, meanwhile, the founders had been in touch with an amazingly charismatic trainer in Umbarara who they set off doing basically English language training, but also interactive education, because of course the kids have to graduate from primary school in English, and that's, as many of you all know, is very hard for them to acquire in these rural settings with very little access to English language education. Keep up, I haven't finished yet. There's still more. And then actually the two problems more. Why weren't the people doing better? Their incomes doing better because they were doing very small scale agriculture, and they were trying to do agriculture either from the point of view of having been day labourers and not being able to really produce enough food, and certainly not enough to be able to make any cash out of it. So we took on a bit of agricultural training, and then there's the perennial problem if you live in that part of Uganda where everybody seems to live on top of a hill, is access to water, which is, of course, and there is quite a lot of water during the year, but it's very periodical, comes and goes. 2 seasons, brilliant, 2 seasons, but 1 season has not very good water access, but also no domestic water either. So we started building domestic water tanks, 7,000 litre domestic water tanks, and we've built about 30 households, well, 30 based in 30 households, of course, serving a lot more. And we added bathrooms to that, and we've done a bit of latrine update in a renovation in schools as well. And so we haven't just done the initial thing and carried on. We've developed it, and for example, the teacher training, we're now hoping to spin out into all the primary schools in our sub-county. And I think that's just about it. An incredibly wide variety of things we do. And of course, there's many advantages of doing a lot of different things. A lot of them are visually quite attractive. You can say that, that you're trying to solve a lot of problems. And there are many different sorts of donors out there who all like to do different things. So that's one of the advantages. But of course, the disadvantage is it's very hard to improve the programs if there's a lot going on. We tend to run around in circles a bit, and it involves so many specialities: teacher training, WASH, business training, microcredit, agriculture. I mean, they're huge areas in themselves, and of course we're not really experts in any of them. So some things are easy to fund but not but are technically hard. Some things are technically hard and hard to fund sometimes, and every combination. So guys, where do we go from here? What do we do next? our our local partner has a great aspiration to expand. On our board, there's a mixture of people who says, well, let's just keep it small, and thinking that we only have a voluntary director here, unpaid director. But we do all this. Last year we did this with about £66,000. So we're really small. So it's very hard to fund somebody in the UK on that level of funding, I think. I mean, we credit ourselves, of course, with being keeping it down to 5% or less more. We've just become a CIO. We went through that pain. So we have the opportunity now but with the same objectives, the same geographical location, but we have the opportunity maybe to modify our objects. We don't have any problem with that. We just have to go through the painful motions with the charity commissioners again, but that's also an option. So what do you think we should do?